Hi everybody and welcome to the Renaissance Builder. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because we're dealing with studio improvements. So to apply the improvements, I have to change things. So it's a little bit different, but today we're talking about these gadgets, new studio lights. So we're gonna try these out, and they should make a pretty big difference. But without wasting too much time, welcome to the Renaissance Builder. Let's get started. So I have the lights in the studio turned off and the image quality is a little lesser, and I'm holding the camera by hand for a reason. I want to do this in 3 stages. I want to show you what I have been dealing with. I want to unbox these lights, these new lights, so that you can see what they come with and, you know, maybe see some things you like or dislike or whatever, but either way, we'll unbox it. And then we'll do a comparison of showing you why they're necessary in the first place. So hopefully by the time we get through those 3 stages, you'll understand what we're working with. So without further ado, let's talk about what I have had. So first of all, I have this here light fixture mounted to the ceiling, you know, right there. And the point of that light fixture is, well, I'm in a house, right? So this is a room, and, you know, that's where your light fixture would be. But what I've actually done in order to get wash lighting behind me is I've used these here, let me get my finger, there we go. I've used these here pieces here, which are just, they're like, those heat lamp guards that you would use for like chicken houses or animals or stuff. Super cheap, reflective, work very well. So that's what I've been doing. And I literally just have those hung from the ceiling from little hooks that, you know, I stuck up in there. No big deal at all. And they plug into adapters that are in the ceiling fixture. So you can see I have plug adapters just screwed into the sockets of the light fixture there. Yeah, so believe it or not, that's actually worked for a pretty decent solution to get a light wash on the back wall. Now what that means is I can apply a color to the back wall behind me, so it's like, you know, a different effect. It gives depth to the image, I guess. I don't know all this stuff that well, but either way, it's a wall wash of color. Alright, so that's above there. You'll also notice, you probably notice I did this really early on in the channel, is this here channel right here. And it wraps the whole way around behind the monitor. And there's a light strip. It's a Philips Hue light strip that I have mounted in there to give another source of color to the wall. And oftentimes I use contrasting colors just to provide a little more depth. Either way, it gives light behind my person, which is, I guess, supposed to add depth to the image. That way you don't blend in with the background kind of thing. It's also easier for like editing and green screens type stuff. But either way, so that there channel right there that runs along the wall contains another source of light. But the actual main sources of light that I've been using for this channel are these here stand lights right behind me. So that bugger right there. So let me give you an image of this thing. Now, this place is a mess. I got a lot of projects I'm working on. This is, yeah, there's a lot of projects. But either way, the room's not that big. You can see it's only like a 10 by 10 room at most. And this arrangement of a light has worked really well, except for one major thing. And that is the space it takes up. You can see that the thing is huge. The box, this is all just a fabric, you know, soft box. There's a light that if you just take this down, there's the bulb way back in there, you know? So really the whole thing is just a whole lot of space that it takes up. And I mean, you got a footprint down there that you just, there's no way to get around that. Not unless you're, well, I mean, I actually have an idea of how to get around having a small footprint, or how to get around having a large footprint in a small space, but that's going to be another video in the future. That is another fairly large scale upgrade that we're going to be doing to the studio. So yeah, so those boxes, and I have another one there in the corner, right there, to provide more wash in the back. So those are my main lights. Now here's the thing, they're so bulky that it's so annoying. By the time you get the tripod set up for the camera and then the light set up, I can't get out. Literally every time, if I need to get out of the room, I have to take everything down and then, you know, leave and then come back and then set it all back up again and, you know, hope that I get it in the right place. So it's annoying, to say the least. And the idea with this light upgrade is that the light is this small. Now I ordered 2 of these because I have, you know, 2 light boxes, and I'm told, at least I'm under the impression, let me switch hands here, that one's getting tired. I'm under the impression from, you know, research I've done, which is basically like collecting a bunch of reviews, watching a bunch of reviews of people that have been using these things. I'm told that they work pretty well without a light box. They have a built-in, this one doesn't have it in it, but they have a built-in diffuser plate to make the light, you know, spread out, so it's not so harsh and directed. So I'm told they work pretty well. If that is the case, then they will do a fantastic job of freeing up floor space when I'm trying to do these recordings. So that is what I have. That's what I've been dealing with, trying to, you know, get all this recording done. All right, so at this point now, I have to set up the tripod, and we'll do the unboxing of what's actually in this thing. This is actually unboxing number 2. Because apparently I didn't check the audio connection the first time around, so I had to put it all back. Anyhow, it's actually pretty simple. You should be able to appreciate the simpleness of this. The box is, well, you know, it's made in China, of course. But box is nothing special, no pictures or anything, just the front. That's what you get. All right, so open, and the first thing you get on top is the LED panel in this nice little plastic baggie. I mean, it's thin, but here's the thing, that it fits. The box is made tight, right? So shipping, you don't really have to, unless UPS. UPS is terrible. But any other shipping company, a good tight box, tight fitting box is probably better than a ton of bubble wrap anyhow. So you take the thing off, and there's your panel, right? Nothing special about it. A couple features of the panel. There's a slot for the battery right here. There's the on-off switch right there. The screen, which has a very nice clear readout of it. And the adjustment knob. You push it. There's 2 adjustments. There's brightness and hue. And you push to select which one you're adjusting, and then, you know, you just turn it. The other features are a 1/4-20 mount right on the bottom, and a 12-volt input. So if you don't want to use the battery, you can just use a 12-volt input. Works just fine. And in fact, without the battery, this thing is actually really light, like significantly light. It's a wait for it. It's a light. Okay, sorry. Not sorry. Okay. Anyhow, setting that to the side. You then have the box. Oop, I forgot. Directions. Yeah, the directions come in there too. They're in Chinese or American. And it's basically, you know, you put a battery in, you adjust the knob, pretty simple stuff. So, then there's this here piece of cardboard. You lift that up, and you got a couple more things. There is a little cable for USB-A to USB-C for charging the battery. It's just a short little cable, nothing special about it. There's the battery. Comes in this little cellophane wrapper. And here's the thing, the battery, it's very basic. There's really nothing fancy about it. This battery is, where do I have it? It's 2 lithium 18650. Do I have the number right? I do. 18650 milliamp hour batteries. That's what's in here. 2 of these. These things are like super universal and available. Like everybody uses them. So it's just 2 of those in here. You know, one into the other. This is the power connection. This is where you charge it. Nice little USB-C charging port right there. Oh, can't focus. And then there's on the back, this is a cute little feature. So let's see if I can block the light for you here. On the back, if you push this button, it tells you how charged up the battery is. There's a little indicator right there. So that's cute, I guess. So yeah, that's the battery. And then the one feature, which I actually find really important, believe it or not, this little adapter. They give you this adapter. Now, what is this? This is a 1/4-20 female to male with an adjustment peg. Why is this so important? Well, here's the thing. The super cheapo light boxes I got from Amazon came with stands, right? They're very cheap stands, but at the top of the stand there's a 1/4-20 peg. But there's no adjustment to the stand on that 1/4-20 peg, none at all. So if I use that, if I screw this panel would screw right onto that, but then it would be absolutely 90 degrees straight up. That's it. And well, that's not really worth it. Now, what this does is I screw this side onto the light stand, okay, and then I screw this side onto the light, like so. Ta-da! Now I can screw this 1/4-20 to the top of the light stand, and then I can use this little adjustment to give myself, you know, adjustability. So now I can turn and go up and down with it. So that turns what would otherwise be a kind of a crappy setup with light stands into something a bit more flexible. And it's free. Well, it comes with the light at least. Nothing's free. So there's nothing else in the box. So that's what you get. Light, battery, charging cable, and some instructions. Ta-da! All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for science class. Yep, quickie. You knew I was going to get that in there. All right, so here's the second thing that I am interested with these lights. These lights right here, it's right next to me. Grab it. Why didn't I have it ready? I don't know, because I'm not prepared. These lights, they are, and I mentioned this before, studio lights. They are literally designed to be used in video production. Okay, that's important. What I have been using to reproduce the colors and the schemes with colors in my videos so far is Philips Hue lighting. I like Philips Hue lighting. It's very easy to use. It's very colorful. The colors are vibrant, and there's many options. But there's one key thing that is a problem using Philips Hue lighting in your filmography. I think that's the thing. So anyhow, and it all has to do with how we drive LEDs. That's an LED, okay? So that's an LED. An LED, like this one, and this is actually a pretty large LED, an LED can only handle so many volts, and it's pretty low. It's usually less than 10 volts that a small LED can handle. And when you deal with even smaller LEDs, it's even less voltage. That is important because if we are going to drive a light bulb using 110 volts, then we need to break down that voltage to something that doesn't burn out the LEDs. And there's 2 ways of doing that. So we can do it with a resistor, or we can do it with a transistor. Now, this isn't actually a transistor, it's a vacuum tube, but it does the same thing, and it's a little bit more interesting to actually look at. Anyhow, so yeah, that's 2 ways to drive an LED, and when I say drive an LED, it means power an LED. So I'm talking fast to make this quick because I don't want to waste your time. This is important because if I drive an LED with a resistor to cut down the voltage to something that the LED can use without burning out, I can share multiple LEDs, and each one provides a voltage drop that brings that voltage down per LED, and then I can also add resistors in there that also split the voltage down to something usable by the LEDs. Resistors provide a very constant voltage. It's literally a steady battery-like voltage. I say battery-like. Transistors, on the other hand, if we use transistors to take the voltage down, this is often done when you are dealing with something where you want to change the intensity of a light. We use what's called a switching power supply. A switching power supply means nothing more than we turn it on and off quickly. And when I say quickly, it's usually in the multiple thousands of hertz. That's multiple thousands of switches per second. That's important. And I'm going to explain real quick why. If I use a transistor to switch the voltage on and off to an LED very quickly, what can happen is the sensor on the camera, which is also reading this, so the camera reads the sensor so many times a second. And every time it reads the sensor, it makes a judgment as to what the lighting, what the conditions of the camera should be to give a certain light level. What that means is, if I have the camera doing its job at so many times a second, and then an LED is flashing, because it does, it flashes, you just can't perceive it with your eyes, but it's flashing at so many thousand times a second. So I have an LED that's flashing at so many thousand times a second, and then I have a camera that's reading it at so many thousand times a second. If it gets just a bit out of sync, then it develops what is essentially like phasing throughout the scene. And I'm going to try and imitate that for you so that you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go on my view here thing, my phone, to the app that turns on the Philips Hue lighting. Okay, so right now I have the camera purposefully set to amplify this effect. So if you look right about here, you should be able to see lines that kind of jump up and down on the screen, and that's the problem. That's the phasing problem. When they just don't line up, when the LED driver frequency just doesn't quite line up with the camera frequency. Now I have the camera set up to do all the functions automatically, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off. Like you can see right now in the picture right here, the hanging picture, you should be able to see the lines floating up and down on that picture. Again, hopefully. I can see it, and it annoys me, so that's an issue, right? Okay, done with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the Philips Hue lighting, and then I'm going to turn on this light. Now, this light has an adjustment built into it, so I can adjust the white balance, which kind of it's a range from like blue light to yellow light. It can't do, you know, all the fancy colors, but I can adjust it from blue light to yellow. And when I say blue, it's like a white, which has blue in it, you know. So like a daylight to a sunlight kind of thing. And I don't know, I'm not making any sense, but either it's white to yellow. Either way, it's not the fancy colors, is what I'm trying to get at. And then I can adjust the brightness, represented in lumens. So there's that much adjustability in it, which is nice, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the hue lights. I'm going to turn on this light and take it through a couple scales, and I'm not going to change anything on the camera, and we're going to see hopefully how much of a difference that makes. See if we can get any of those lines to generate, because that'll tell me the difference of how this is being driven. Well, not really. It's still being driven by a transistor system. It's a switching power supply, but maybe it's a better switching power supply. All right, so let's do this. All right, I'm going to turn off the Philips Hue. Again, the camera, I'm not going to touch it. All right, Turning the Philips Hue off. Camera adjusts. All right, cool. Now I'm turning on this light. Whoop, 100%. Okay. Oh God, that's bright. All right, so right now it's on a yellowish hue, and the camera's adjusting, and I don't see any lines in the image. All right, so let's do some changing. Oh God, don't look at that. Jesus, okay. Let's take it down to 50%. All right. And camera's adjusting. You know, it's not a bad light. It's a little on the yellow side, but it certainly works. Again, I don't see any lines in the screen. Okay, let's try the white to yellow. So I take, and I'm going to turn it all the way up to the white spectrum and do this again. Oh, that thing's so bright. How do I look? Yeah. Again, no lines in the image. Okay, let's take it up to, this is gonna hurt. We're gonna go up to full capacity. Lord have mercy. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Stop looking at it. Jesus, I'm an idiot. Whatever. All right, let's look for... No, I still don't see any lines. Well, that's promising. That's a good thing. Mom always said I was bright. Oh man, yeah, bad jokes. That's what we do. All right, yeah, I think this is gonna work out well. See, shine it over there. See how bright it is. Woo! See, hi. Printer with a Lego tank on top and an RC car on top there. Yep. You can actually see. Don't look at it. You can see the display on the back. Tells you the 100% is the brightness, and the 25, I think 5500 is the lumen. 5,500 lumens. Yeah. I think. Whatever. All right. Cool. I'm calling this a success. All right, so that's it for this video. That's what I wanted to talk about. These lights, how much of a difference they make. In fact, you can see a huge difference in how well the room is lit. I set it right there over my computer, and you can tell a huge difference how well the room is lit. So I'm very happy with this. So I'm going to say, if anybody out there is interested, and say you have one of these old box setups, or you're using Philips Hue or any other kind of lower quality switching LED light, $40 to $50, give or take time and wherever the price goes. Anyhow, these are not expensive, and they are a great upgrade. They don't take up very much room, and they work very well for videography. You know, they don't mess with your camera's sensor is the key here. So I'm calling this a win. So thank you very much, everybody. If any of you guys out there are looking for lights that are less expensive, take up less room, and do a great job, this Victronics lights. They work great. I recommend it. Amazon. Go figure. All right, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe, the subscribe icon and the bell so you get notified of future videos. Again, thank you very much. You guys have a great day. Till next time. Bye now.
Bye-bye.